No one expected the night to begin with a whisper. A subtle notification. A rumor barely loud enough to rise above the usual off-season noise. But then, like a lightning bolt cracking open the sky, it hit. Josh Naylor is coming back to Seattle. And the entire baseball world froze, because some stories don't wait for permission to explode. For months, Mariners fans lived with the ghost of a man who defined their postseason heartbeat. Every highlight reel felt incomplete. Every conversation carried an echo. What if Naylor was still here? He wasn't just a slugger, he was the pulse that hammered through T-Mobile Park in October, the man who turned pressure into gasoline. And now, suddenly, he was back. It didn't matter that the rumor came at 2 a.m. It didn't matter that half the country was asleep. In Seattle, phones lit up like fireworks. The city buzzed with something it hadn't felt in a long time, hope without hesitation. The kind of hope that makes your eyes widen, your pulse quicken, your breath catch before you can steady it. Because everyone remembered that night. The night Naylor slammed his fist on the dugout railing, screaming with a fire that could melt steel. The night he refused to let the season die. The night he turned an elimination game into a personal battle and swung so hard, so violently, so fearlessly that the whole stadium shook as if the ground itself believed in him. He wasn't just a player. He was a storm wearing cleats. And storms have a way of coming back home. Reporters scrambled. Insiders panicked. Executives whispered behind closed doors. The Mariners had been quiet for too long, too still, too calm, like the ocean before a destructive wave rises. People thought they were asleep. But no organization sleeps when they've tasted a deep postseason run and seen how close they came to rewriting franchise history. The front office knew the truth. They didn't need another star. They needed a spark, a firebrand, a fighter, someone who stepped into the batter's box not as a hitter, but as a declaration. That man was Naylor. And when the news leaked, he's re-signing. It's happening. It's real. Fans didn't celebrate politely. They erupted. They roared. And deep in that celebration was a memory so powerful it almost hurt to think about. The memory of Naylor rounding first base in October, the veins in his neck stretched, his helmet flying behind him like a discarded crown, his roar slicing through the night air. A roar that wasn't just emotion, it was electricity made human. He had carried the Mariners. Carried them when everyone else felt the weight of the moment pressing against their shoulders. Carried them when the season's heartbeat seemed faint. And every fan knew, you don't just replace a warrior like that. You hope, if you're lucky, that someday, somehow, he returns. This wasn't just a signing. It was a revival. Some insiders said the Mariners overpaid. Some said they gambled too much. Some said they were desperate. But anyone who'd stood in T-Mobile Park during those postseason nights knew the truth. This wasn't desperation. This was destiny. Teams don't get many chances to reclaim the soul that brought them to life. Seattle wasn't going to let theirs walk away twice. Behind the scenes, Naylor's decision wasn't easy. There were larger offers, longer offers, cities promising brighter lights, bigger markets, louder platforms. But sometimes, a player chooses not what is shiny, but what is real. In Seattle, he wasn't a piece of a puzzle. He was the spark that ignited it. He remembered the fans chanting his name like a war cry. Remembered the teammates who embraced his fire instead of shrinking from it. Remembered looking into the dugout during the biggest game of the year and seeing belief. Reflected back at him, not because he was perfect, but because he was unbreakable. And unbreakable players belong with unbreakable cities. So he chose Seattle. He chose the noise. He chose the fight. He chose the unfinished story. As the sun rose over the sound, the city awakened to the headline, Josh Naylor, back in blue and teal. It felt unreal, almost mythical, like a character returning at the perfect moment in a movie, right when the plot threatens to fall apart. Fans flooded social media with clips of his postseason heroics. Broadcasters spoke his name with the reverence reserved for legends. And quietly, behind that storm of excitement, the Mariners clubhouse lit up with a different kind of energy, the energy of players realizing their war machine had regained its loudest weapon. Baseball isn't just numbers. It's soul, momentum, emotion. And Naylor carried all three the way a gladiator carries a shield. The players who remembered those October nights smiled. Because they knew what the rest of the league was about to find out the hard way. A locked-in Josh Naylor changes everything. He changes the dugout atmosphere. He changes the way pitchers attack the lineup. He changes the confidence of the teammates hitting before and after him. He changes the crowd, turning ordinary moments into brewing thunderstorms. And when October returns, and it always does, he becomes something else entirely, a man who thrives on pressure like most people breathe oxygen. Seattle didn't just sign a bat. They signed a heartbeat. A defiant, roaring, larger-than-life force who refuses to let silence swallow the season. The cameras haven't rolled yet. The innings haven't been played. The big swings, the emotional outbursts, the dugout celebrations, they're all still waiting in the shadows of tomorrow. But already, something feels different. Already, the Mariners look less like a team. And more like a threat. Fans don't know what the season will bring. No one does. But they know this: when the lights burn brightest and the stakes climb highest, there will be one figure in the batter's box, gripping the bat like a weapon, eyes blazing with the fury of a man who's been told, "You can't," too many times. And Seattle will rise with him. Because some returns aren't just comebacks. Some returns are warnings. Josh Naylor is back. And the league has been officially put on notice. The story isn't over. It just got louder.